The first time I heard about abortion, I was 12 years old, and I remember there was some legal battle going on in Adelaide, and my mum explained to me what abortion was, and I remember thinking, how could they do that? You know, how could somebody do that to a baby? I couldn't understand it, and after that, I spent weeks just crying myself to sleep and praying and crying and thinking, what can I do? What can I do? And I was only 12, so I had no idea what I could do. But that's when I started going along to the pro-life vigils with my mum. I think that I've got a couple of my close friends that until I'd met them, they really didn't know much at all about the abortion debate. They didn't really pay too much attention to it. But since I've sort of become friends with them, they've actually become quite active in the vigils, and during all of 40 Days for Life, they've spent hours down there themselves. And I think that it's very encouraging to see that, especially when you know that you've sort of contributed to it. I do sidewalk counselling and praying, and the sidewalk counselling actually is, I find it to be a very rewarding experience, because just to speak to these women, even the ones that have come out after they've had an abortion, to be able to speak to them and to be able to get them to hear your side, and to be able to get them to realise that God does love them and that He is still there for them, waiting for them. It's such a touching experience. My family is all pro-life. My mum is definitely the most involved, as well as myself. But my older siblings, they've sort of, like my older sister, she's married with her own children and whatnot. But my mum's definitely been one of my biggest role models. She keeps me going. She gets me up in the morning and makes me go. So she's definitely a good motivator. She's definitely kept me going. There's so many new friendships. So many people in Sydney I've gotten to know, and I've been to Sydney a few times for pro-life events. And to get to know them there, it's just been such a massive part of my life. Everyone at Family Life International, they're fantastic. And also in Adelaide, I've gotten to know so many people I didn't know before the pro-life work started. It is our mission, it is our goal, our job, our responsibility to ask God for mercy. And as Christians, this is not something that is optional. We have to get involved. We have to make a difference. We have to make a stand. We have to make a peaceful stand though. And I think that the more people that get involved, the bigger the pro-life movement will be, and therefore there will be such a better chance of conquering this culture of death. I think that I would say to get involved, because it impacts you so personally, and when you realize how many people have abortions, you realize that so many people that you know are affected, and you yourself are somehow affected. You may not even realize it, but it touches every single person's life.
Well, I think it's been a gradual journey. I've always thought that children were a good thing. My parents always loved having children, and they had friends who were pro-life without actually using the word. They would just simply welcome all the children God sent. So that had an influence that I thought children were a positive thing, and people were happy when they had them and things like this. And I saw abortion as ending a life. And even when I wasn't so sure whether it was ending a life or ending potential life, I still thought that ending potential life was pretty serious. So you shouldn't do it. It's a lot easier than you think. You get a lot more than you think. It's the typical thing of God takes nothing and gives you 150% back, if not 200% back, and it's like that.
It was quite confronting. We turned up jet-lagged, only having had 3 hours sleep, and walked up in a procession, prayerful procession towards the abortion clinic, and there was this very loud, boisterous group called Church Ladies for Choice, men dressed in dresses dancing around with very loud brass band music, and they tried to drown us down, but we just continued to pray the rosary and pray silently for the babies, and we were singing hymns, and in the end we managed just to try and tune them out, and enjoyed the prayer vigil despite their loud noise distracting us. It was actually a joyful vigil. Yes, we counsel at the clinic. We we have prayers, and then we have people counselling and talking to everyone going in and passers-by, chatting to the neighbours. We chat to the director of the clinic. She's quite a lovely lady, so we say hello to her by name, and we try to be friendly to everyone. I've brought my friend into pro-life work. She was a single mother at 19, and her boyfriend told her that she had to have an abortion when she found she was pregnant, and she chose very courageously to keep the baby despite the relationship ending. And now she's a very fine example of a wonderful single mother who can still achieve great things, and she's studying law and very excited about pro-life events. I started going to the abortion clinics, and we would pray there every week and offer help to women going for abortions, practical help. And there's a baby being born this October, which we're very excited about because we've offered the woman some money that she needed for her visa problems, and now she's able to keep her baby, which she's delighted with. My faith is greatly enriched by the pro-life work. It means that I act and I pray and I think as a Catholic. It's not just about praying in church, but I also act out charity and help others around me. Yes, there have been wonderful friendships. We have made friends from who are not Christian or pro-life, and they've come along and helped us. There's pro bono lawyers and doctors who've helped us with saving babies, and many wonderful young people have greatly enriched my life.
Very inspiring, bringing 30-odd young Australians to New York to pray and come at Calvary with Monsignor Riley, the founder of the Helpers of God's Precious Infants. It was instructive for them to see protesters doing much the same things as protesters all around the world do, in Australia and elsewhere, and for them to see him conduct a vigil on that scale, and to see the success of the turnarounds and the effect of protesters on the workings of the abortion mill, and to see them pray and be part of that was very inspiring. Many times, my background is sales, and I've got a lot of confidence in my powers of persuasion. I'm able to talk people into things often they don't want to do. But I tell you, there's nothing more frustrating, more difficult than trying to convince people that what we're doing is peaceful and prayerful, and is the answer to the evil of abortion in the modern world. Only at the site, only at the modern day Calvary, can our prayers make all the difference. And we need to have more people there, but they are convinced more by the propaganda of the modern media and others who would try and persuade people that we're actually terrorists and we're harming women and making the cause, damaging the cause. So I would encourage all Catholics and people of goodwill to be involved in the pro-life work. And I don't think until Catholics especially become more involved in pro-life, because there's no greater injustice in the world today. Outside of blasphemies and offences against God himself, there is nothing worse on the face of this earth. No greater injustice is perpetrated by man on man than the slaughter of the unborn children and the loss of so many souls who are involved in this. And it's beholden upon Catholics to become involved and to be the light of the church, to shine that light of the church on the world and to be the salt of the earth. We need to do that. We need to be involved. We need to show the world that there is better options, that there is real Christians, that Christ is made present in the world today. Yeah.